Honorable members of the committee, thank you for taking this lead in the U.S. and helping us catch up the rest of the world by looking at cell phone safety issues. My name is Janet Newton. I'm from Cabot, Vermont. I'm president of the EMR Policy Institute, and we have maintained a regular presence at federal agencies trying to get to the bottom of what they're saying about this health issue. I want to share with you what I've learned in the last 12 years, and a lot of this communication is what happens between the agencies. It's not what the statements are that are put out in the public, so I hope Representative Stuckey, I'll be able to get to some of what you're looking for. Before 1996, there was no regulation of cell phones in the United States. In 1999, the RF Interagency Work Group sent a letter to the IEEE Standard Setting Committee pointing out 14 flaws that they see with the IEEE standards. Some of those that pertain to today's discussion: there's no consideration of the biological difference between different types of tissue that are exposed. There's no difference with brain, bone marrow, muscle, fat, skin. It's all lumped together. No consideration of chronic and repeated exposure to cell phones over a long period of time. The IEEE safety standard addresses a 6-minute high-intensity exposure period. There's no consideration of subpopulation groups such as children, women, the elderly, or the infirm. There's an exclusion of literature, again, about neurological and behavioral effects, and exclusion of literature on micronuclei, which is a marker for cancer. What happened when this letter went to the IEEE? Nothing. Nothing from Congress, nothing from the IEEE, nothing from the federal health agencies. In 1999, the FDA nominated cell phone radiation to the National Toxicology Program for research, saying, "It is not scientifically possible to guarantee that cell phone radiation will not cause long-term adverse health effects at low levels." Today, 11 years later, the National Toxicology Program began its study, but the study is not designed to address children. In 2001, the GAO Government Accounting Office issued a report where they criticized the FCC for stating in one of their brochures, quote, that cell phones causing medical problems is a fiction. When the cell phone experts at the FCC were asked to respond to this, they agreed with the GAO that, quote, this characterization could be misleading because it implies that the health issue is settled. The GAO report concluded that it will likely be many years before we know whether cell phone emissions pose any risk to human health. In 2003, the RF Interagency Work Group again identified more flaws with the IEEE's proposed changes. One of those was to classify the earlobe as an extremity rather than as part of the head. They also criticized that there's no rationale for the IEEE proposal to weaken the exposure standards. That's what that proceeding was about. And there's no explanation why the IEEE ignores exposed to different tissue types. I've got a lot more here. I've got a written statement for you that I'll make sure that you get with the particulars, the websites, there the links are to the documents. If you want more of the same, I can direct you to where the federal agencies communicate between themselves about the problem. That's not what you hear in the public. Thank you. And our organization endorses your efforts, and we hope to pass the legislation. Thank you.
You're from Cabot?
Cabot, Vermont.